Many names that have been touted. What can you mention?
Right, Jesse, it's good evening to you, but maybe not a very good evening to the former Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, who, as you have put it clearly, is no longer the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and that has actually been communicated by the Speaker of the Senate, that is Amason Kingi, who has said the position as per now is vacant. And Jesse, it has been a long day, of course, with the back and forth that has been witnessed this afternoon from 2:30 p.m. When we could not see the Deputy President here. It was a no-show for the Deputy President, and we were later informed that he was admitted at the current hospital. And Jesse, just to bring you to speed, I can see senators leaving the chambers. Today it was full to capacity. Definitely for the first time, we can see that it was full to capacity. 67 senators, of course, voting on the various grounds. And I want to try and get at least one or two senators that I can talk to and hear what they have to say concerning this impeachment motion that was before the Senate for the 2 days that we have witnessed marathon proceedings in the Senate with counsel from the Deputy President, the former Deputy President side, and also the counsel from the National Assembly side trying to argue their cases. And of course, this afternoon is where everything was so apparent that there was possibility of going on with the sittings. Remember, when the Deputy President did not appear in the afternoon, then there was questions and
Okay, we seem to have lost Daniel Kariuki. The monkeys are hanging on the lines. We'll try and establish contact with him as soon as possible, but he's just coming to us live from outside the Senate buildings, where it's a beehive of activities as various leaders make their way out of the Senate. Following that particular ruling by the Senate Speaker, Amason Kingi, following the voting process, it's now official. Rigathi Gachagua is no longer the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. We seem to have established connection with our senior political affairs reporter, Daniel Kariuki. Kariuki, back to you. Sorry for that brief interruption.
Right, my apologies for that technical hitch there. And I was just telling you how the situation, or rather the proceedings, have been this afternoon in the Senate, and what actually prompted the lawyers to move from the chambers. I want to speak to some of the senators, at least to hear what they have to say concerning this sitting that was happening here. Mheshimiwa, thank you very much. Just come here so that we can have just some reaction concerning what has happened this evening. Of course, you are a member of parliament, but you are here this evening. Maybe you can bring us to speed maybe what happened.
Yangu ni kidogo sana kusema asanti kwa kazi ile ambayo imefanyika pale Senate. Ni kazi nzuri sana, ambayo ni kazi ambayo hauna kabila wowote. Na huu ndio wakati nzuri ambaye hata Kenyans watajua kwamba kazi inaweza kufanyika. William Samoei Ruto, huu ndio wakati wake wa kuamka na kufanya kazi. Yule alikuwa ambaye anamzuia, ambaye hiyo imetolewa barabarani, ya kwamba hii kiti ya Deputy President ikianza kupeanwa, sisi wote wa Mount Kenya East tunahitaji hiyo kiti. Kwa sababu ya nini? Tulimpatia mzee Jomo Kenyatta miaka 15, tukampatia Kibaki miaka 10, tukampatia Uhuru miaka 10, na Rigathi Gachagua miaka 2. Kwa hivyo hii kiti ikiwa Mount Kenya East kwa Kithure Kindiki, sisi hiyo ndio furaha yetu.
Kwa hivyo unasema kwamba what was the interest you being here all this time, and it is of course the Senate proceedings.
Interest yangu ilikuwa kwa sababu mimi ni Mkenya na lazima niwe hapa hivi. Na hiyo ilikuwa interest yangu kuwa hapa, na nimefurahia kwa sababu kila kitu kimeenda sawa.
Asante sana. I can see a senator from Nyandarua. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN News. And of course, you've followed the proceedings in Senate. And Deputy President, or rather Rigathi Gachagua, is no longer the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Your reaction to it?
Well, that is a democratic process. I personally voted against the motion. But since the majority have had their way, ours is to have our say. It is actually clear that the motion that we had was a motion that was crafted and not a lot of material evidence was provided that was sufficient enough. We didn't meet the threshold that is required, and actually, in my opinion, feel that this is not an impeachment that can stand the test of time. Mm-hmm. If it was to be tested in a trial court, a court of law, yes, in a court that will be able to look at the facts, I'm not sure this is a trial that would stand the test of time.
Right. Let me engage the senator for Kirinyaga. I can also see another senator here, but let me first engage the senator from Kirinyaga. Definitely, this motion, or rather, Rigathi Gachagua is no longer the deputy president, yes, and you are on that side of voting against the motion. What next after this, as a person who is very close and allied to deputy president?
First of all, I want to say that
former deputy president.
First of all, I want to say that after impeachment, there is still an opportunity to go to the court of law, because that's an option which is still open, especially because there are some of the things that didn't go on in the Senate. First of all, it's against the law to condemn anybody unharmed. The deputy president was sick. The Senate was notified, but for some reason, the motion still continued. Secondly, there is an issue of the public participation. You see, the public participation must be fair. And if you look at how the public participation was conducted, it was conducted by the members of National Assembly who had already signed for the motion to impeach the deputy president. Therefore, there is no way that you could have expected fairness from members of parliament who had already signed to impeach the deputy president. So on my side, and my people of Kirinyaga, we were against the motions and the way everything has been done, and we stand by that until now. Yes.
Definitely, looking at the grounds, several of the grounds, some of the grounds, the senators voted against the motion, and other grounds they voted to the yes to the ground. Maybe you can bring us to speed. Could it have been maybe your side, you had not really tried to mobilize and ensure the senators know about the grounds?
I would not like to say much, but I'll leave that to the eyes of public opinion, because first of all, you can't, if more than 55 senators, all of them voting for the same grounds. I want to think about that. 55 senators voting to impeach the deputy president on the same grounds. You see, if it's one, it's one. If it's two, it's two. If it's four, it's four. Is it possible? Even if you do it mathematically, it's not possible. So, if you go and look at the grounds which have been used to impeach the deputy presidents, all those senators, 55 senators, voted for the same grounds. There were 11 grounds. The possibility that 55 senators will vote for ground 1, ground 3, ground 6, and ground 7, come on, it's not practical. Right. Yes, it's not practical.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Senator, for Kirinyaga Murango, for giving us those insights concerning the voting that has just happened there to remove by way of impeachment Rigathi Gachagua as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, and it is official. He is actually a former Deputy President, and I was just bringing you to speed with what had happened as I continue also to get at least one or two senators to continue giving us more insights on what happened, transpired inside there. I can see more senators engaging other media houses, but I'll try to get at least one or two so that they can tell us exactly that. But I was telling you that there was a back and forth in the afternoon concerning the no-show of Deputy President, former Deputy President. I think we are learning to say this former Deputy President. We are actually practicing to say former Deputy President. Now I'm joined by Senator Tom to just bring us to speed. Thank you very much for joining us here on KTN News. We are live. Definitely, this is a historic something that will go into the history of this country. The first Deputy President to be impeached. What's your take about this?
Yeah, it is historic. It is an impeachment that has occurred for the first time. Senate has been impeaching governors. This is the first time that we have put into action the rules that provide for the impeachment of a deputy president under Articles 144, 145 to 150, and now he's been impeached under 157. Essentially, it is a demonstration, one, that Senate is up to task, but number two, that Senate can undertake this function as under the dictates of the Constitution. Out of the 11 charges that were profiled against the deputy president, 5 succeeded. In Senate, once one charge succeeds, you are impeached. And that is why His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, remains impeached from the moment we made that decision.
Yes, looking at the numbers, you could see there are some grounds that the numbers could go all the way to 50. Like the first ground, the numbers were 53 to 13. The senators overwhelmingly voting for that ground. Maybe you can tell us about the numbers. Today we could see the numbers was more.
The Senate votes on every count. Every senator will vote on every count. So that is why the numbers vary. Every senator is free to make a decision on every vote. Where a charge is not proved to the standards that are required, definitely a senator will vote no. That is why you find the numbers, and that is why I said out of the 11 charges, only 5 were proved. Only 5. And therefore, Senate threw out 6 of the charges. That is a sign of the independence of Senate and of senators. We are not rubber stamps. We vote in accordance with what we think emerges from the evidence.
Does the former deputy president stand a chance to make a comeback in any way?
Once you impeach, you out there. It's difficult to make a comeback, but I think he still has a recourse to go to court. He can proceed to court, and the courts will pronounce themselves, because courts are independent and they make their own decisions. Yes.
Of course, we'll be keen and following to see what happens next to that matter to do with if the former deputy president has opportunity to make a comeback concerning the happenings that have happened today. Just to get a feel, the senator says that 5, or rather, this is what has happened. 5 of the charges were thrown out, meaning that the Senate has its own independence, and I'm going to be trying to get more of the senators. Just allow me just to get one of the senators, Senator from Muranga. I want to see if I can get him to just say 1 or 2 things. Thank you very much, Senator from Muranga here, just to bring us to speed. Rigathi Gachagua is a former deputy president, and we saw you really argue out his case in the Senate and debate it. What's your take this evening?
Thank you very much, and I'm smiling because I don't know why we are calling him the former deputy president. You know, after the vote, of course, we have recourse in law, and we should be heading to court, of course, to seek that this decision may be overturned by the courts. Because, as you know, this is a man that was condemned and had. This is a man that was condemned, whom people voted against while actually lying on a hospital bed. And so these are matters that we believe we are going to take to court, and we want to believe that our judicial officers, the judges, will get merit in this, and they are going to overturn this decision. And that is why I told you I smile when you call him former deputy president, because it is not over until it is over.
Right, and you have said it right, that he still has a chance to move to the courts and try to prove his case. Now, what happens if even the courts goes the other way?
Fine. I would rather we cross that bridge when we reach it. We cannot start saying that what happens if the courts uphold this decision. But if the court upholds this decision and we go all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upholds this decision, we are going to abide by the decision of the court. But this was a very weak case. I do not believe that our judicial officers can uphold this particular decision by the Senate, because it was irregular.
Let me ask you, before I hand it back to studio, people have been advising the deputy president, or rather former deputy president, to resign and not to get to this extent for the sake of his career. From where you sit, do you think he might make a comeback, looking at all the situations?
Of course, yes. A cat has 9 lives, my brother. And so he will make a comeback. But I want to tell you that the deputy president would not have resigned because that would have been a cowardly act. And the deputy president is not a coward. So we are going to pursue this matter up to Supreme Court. If needs be, we can even go to the East African Court of Justice.
Yes. Just allow me, Jesse, to talk to, at least to try and look at matters to do with gender, because I've engaged so many. At least you are here. Let me ask. Let me ask you, senator, nominated senator. Today happenings. You are saying you are sad today. Why are you sad? And Senator Muranga says.
What I am saying. In war, you don't kill a wounded soldier. Deputy President is a fellow soldier who is currently wounded. And you may have many reasons to staple on him, to destroy him, but me, as a religious Muslim woman, I'm saying that revenge belongs to God. And I want to say, as a country, we are even at war with many pressing issues. Yeah? Many pressing issues like the GMO food, the leasing of our airport, the controversial SHIF and SHAF, education matters, whereby the university funding model. Yeah? So there are so many things. It pains me to see that whatever happened to witness whatever happened to President Ruto as a deputy president is the same. He is doing the same to Gachagua.
In 30 seconds, because I do not have time, 30 seconds, your advice to former deputy president.
My advice to former president, I am saying that I hope the court will give him justice.
Thank you very much. Nominated Senator there, Abdallah, just giving us insight concerning her take and opinion, views on what has transpired in the Senate. She says she's very disappointed. She is not happy. She is very angry. But Senator for Muranga says that he is smiling because he knows that things are going to change. Well, Jesse, that's just part of the reactions that have happened here. I can see Mheshimiwa Roko standing here, but I have been told I don't have time. So we are going to engage you later on. But Jesse, I want to hand it back to studio. And that is just some of the reactions that have happened here. And definitely, I believe tomorrow there will be more reactions. And of course, as we look forward to the special sitting by the National Assembly tomorrow, we are going to be looking at the order paper and part of what is going to be scheduled there to be discussed tomorrow morning at exactly 9:30 a.m. For the special sitting. But for now, over to you, Jesse and Ashley.
Of course, Daniel Kariuki, they're just getting some reactions from senators and some members of parliament regarding that historic vote that led to the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua. Now, before we get to the paper and what you should expect tomorrow, let's just take a look at the 5 grounds that led to his impeachment. One was the